Hey everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Right, today we'll see how to make leads qualified even before your sales team actually make the first phone call. So here we're seeing how AI could qualify your leads before your sales team, right? So in this video I will show you how to basically use the sales qualification agent in Microsoft Sales, right, to evaluate leads, to surface key insights, and also help teams focus on opportunities most likely to convert. Right, so let's see it in action. Before we proceed into the video, if you know you haven't subscribed, do well to subscribe and also drop a like so other persons who are in the Dynamics community can see resourceful videos like this and help them in the dynamic space. Thank you. All right, so let's move straight into our video. So in today's session, basically what we are doing is a setup. So we've talked about how AI can help us, vet our leads, we qualify them before sending them to the salespeople to actually proceed with whatever the sales process flow is. So today we'll be seeing basically how to set up a sales qualification agent, right? So I'm in the sales application real quick, and I'm going all the way into the app settings, right? So now I'm in the app settings, and straight up I'll look for the Dynamics 365 AI Hub. So in the Dynamics 365 AI Hub, we have a couple of agents currently released, right? We have the sales qualification agent, the sales opportunity agent, and also the sales close agent, as well as the data enrichment. So whichever you want to set up, you can just proceed to set it up right from this page. Okay, so for ours, we'll be setting up just one for today, which is the sales qualification agent, right? And to do that, we go straight into the create and manage option. And before we proceed to create this, yes, there's actually some prerequisites that needs to be checked, right? So I will see a list of them, which is what we are seeing now. We need firstly to make sure everything is in place for the AI agent to work as expected. And one thing we have here is the Microsoft Copilot Studio capacity. You can see this is done. The ability to move data across region is done, and also the AI prompt is done. If I want to set up anything, this is done for me out of the box, but if I want to check it out to go set it up, then I will just click on setup, accept terms, or setup, whichever you want to do. So let's go straight into creating. So I click on create, I choose. All right, so whichever I want to, so I'll just go with the sales qualification agent. And this is what the sales qualification agent basically do. So it gathers lead insights, drafts or sends outreach emails to engage leads, also detect buying interest from customers' response or behavior, and lastly here qualifies and hand over. So this is one of the important parts where it qualifies and then hand over the qualified leads to the salespeople. Now you'll see how to specify who should he hand over to, what team or what person or what attributes does this person have for them to receive the qualified or the leads that are to be handed over from the AI agent. Right, so let's go straight into choosing this. Also here it has its own not prerequisite, but it has its own terms that you need to pass through before you proceed to the next stage. So here it says choose what the agent should automate when to hand off to a seller, right? So you can click research, engage, right? So you do all of this. So you're setting up the research. This can be undone once you do it, right? So these other things. So create an app in Azure. So this is because we also need to have like an app user. So I'm supposed to have like an app user who the agent works with, right? So create a shared mailbox because we'll be sending out emails, right? The agent sends emails, have conversations with the customer. So you can actually proceed to set all of this up, right? So you don't just check the boxes. I have some already set up, and that's why I can freely check the box, right? But for your own case, click on the link, go set it up. It takes about less than 5 minutes. Some instance is just to toggle on something, while for example the create app user is just to create an app user, give them the sales insight, the AI salesperson role, and I mean that should be all, right? So even the server side, it might just be toggle on a button. So once all of this is done, right, you can now proceed, you can now continue. Okay, so you can see automation is done. Now I now have the instance where I will now put in the agent's name. So I'm setting up the profile of this agent basically. So we can give it a name. I'll just call it Frank AI. Let's say Frank Qualification Agent. Sales Qualification, right? Agent, right? That's cool, and you can tell what the agent do, so you can describe what it does. So basically, qualifies leads before handoff to sellers. Perfect. Then we go into the agent user. So by default, the environment I'm making use of, right, the marketing environment already provides a user for me. But if that user doesn't have the right role, so you can see agent user doesn't have the sales AI permission. So after creating the user, which is part of the prerequisite, that's the Dataverse app user, you need to grant them this AI salesperson. So quickly, I'll do that. Right, so I kept that pending so I can show us, because many persons might hit that blocker, right, and they might be confused. Okay, what next to do? So that's why I have that. So you would have created the application user successfully, and the next thing is to actually, give it that required role. So quickly, I'll come into my environment, right, and this is my marketing trial environment. Okay, so go straight into settings. Right, then if you come in here, you can see the options for application users. Once I go into application users, this is where I can create an application user. So I can create a new application user other than the Dynamics 365 marketing user. All I need to do is click on new app user, create the user, and come in straight here and give them a security role. So I can go in and give them anything, right, or I can just create, I already have this one, but we can just quickly create one, and I'll call these let's say, okay, we could just use this one since I don't want to have it too much, so I'll just leave it the way it is and edit security role, and I'll look for the AI salesperson real quick. AI salesperson, here is it. So I'll assign this security role to this user, right, and I click save. So once this is saved, everything should be fine, and I can now proceed back to my system. So this is fine, and the sync happens near real time. So if I come back in here and let's say I take this out, maybe I just refresh. Okay, just refresh real quick, just copy everything I have that I might need to type and just refresh it real quick. So once I refresh, the sync should already be in place, and that should be good. Right, so just check the boxes once again. Everything is good here, and I click on continue, give it a name, and let's say qualify leads and hand off to sellers. Right, so now once I put in this application user, you notice it didn't give any more error because the sync has happened. This application user now has that AI salesperson role, which is very important, right? So next is the language the agents you use is English. If your environment is on a default language, maybe Spanish, Finnish, Chinese, Arabic, whatever it is, right, it's going to pick that as the default. You can see here it says the language you see depends on the installed packs. So currently on this I have just English. If I have other languages I have installed, I'll see a list of all the languages. Then I can choose which one I want my environment to basically work for, right? The agent, I mean to say. We also have the email signature, so I click on modify here. This is just to modify because at some point the agent will be sending out emails, right? So they'll be sending out emails on behalf of your organization, so you can basically modify the signatures, how you want it to look like. You can do all of that, right? So I can come in here, best regard, and I'll say Frank AI sales representative. Very simple. Okay, you can put in maybe if you have your company logo, anything, right? But this is me showing you you can modify the email signature before sending out your email. Okay, so I'll click on save and close, and this should be fine. You can see it's updated here. There's a disclaimer, all right? So I can put in something and say Frank, because you want to make people know, all right? So Frank AI generated content. So should in case it sends any email, it put the disclaimer that this is Frank's AI generated content, so people understand that this is not Frank, but this is AI, right? Like a qualification agent AI. If you have other terms, you can proceed to put it in here, but if there are none, then it's fine. It can stay the way it is. All right, so I hit the save button. So this may take some time, so it's saved. Next is the company info, right? So your company, right? The company that this agent is working for, right? I'm just going to pick a random website and let's see how to put that in. So I'll take this website and yep. So I picked information from this website and I put it in. So enter company name. Oops. This is company website and company name. All right, so this is fine. I click on save. All right, so you can see here, your company details will be used to generate personalized outreach and also engage basically with customers, right? So next is the product, basically, you know, what you sell. So this is part of what the agent will use to create smart suggestions, right? You can choose to use AI, right? So it says use AI to generate value proposition based on your website and add it here. So I can put in my website in AI, all right, and I'll be able to add it, or I can just come into the website itself and just pick up what they do basically. So I can come in here and just pick this. This is more like the product of what this company does, and I can just put it in here, which is cool. So from this, it can generate smart suggestions, all right, for handoff criteria to the agent. So selection criteria, very important, because at this point is when more like we are trying to put a segment. Oh, leads that are in this category are the leads that will be attended to by this agent, right? The AI agent for sales, that's the qualification agent, won't basically attend to all leads, right? Except you put all the leads you are getting in this radar. But if not, you just have to create a selection criteria for it. All right, so I can call these the SQA agents, right? Just keep it simple. And here is the selection criteria. So this is a segment you can have up to 10, right? So this is set to lowest priority. By default, leads will be added here only if they don't match any other segments, right? So if they don't match any other segment, then we bring them into there. So for first, leads that their status equals open, rating equals cold, lead source does not equal employee referral or partner. So if you're an employee referral or partner, then you definitely won't be part of this. All right, so email contains data. So this is real, like this, this makes sense because at this point you can add more things. So I can go in, try to create leads, and with those leads I'll ensure that those leads match this criteria. So if they match this criteria, then I can now say, okay, this will be my lead. For now I haven't created any leads, but once you create leads that have to match all of these filters, then you can go preview leads. You see a list of leads that definitely match your criteria, so you can see the leads that over time this agent will work with. So here is where you can set your criteria. If you want to add more, right, you can come in here, click on add a row, select whatever it is you want peculiar to your understanding of how your flow is, right, and you can put it. You can say people whose budget equals maybe can buy, may buy, will buy, anything. You can even put your custom fields here. So you create a custom field, right, or a custom column, and you want to use that to target your customers, that's the lead, and you want the agent, the AI agent, to leverage on it. Very good. You could apply it here in the system, right? So I'll just delete this, and as well I can switch any of this, right? So it's not like a cast in stone where it's just going to be this alone. Okay, so this is cool, and I can click on save. Right, so once this is saved, we can now move into the next option, which is now the email instruction, right? So just hold on. This may take some time, so we'll just give it a few minutes for it to save. Okay, so this has saved successfully, right? So it does some background jobs, right? So if I had any leads already meeting this criteria, if I just click on this, it should show. Next is the email instructions. So we will be sending out emails. So basically, you manage how the agent personalize and draft emails. That's what this is about, right? So outreach emails, you choose whether the agent personalize each outreach emails or send the same one every time. So by default, the agent generates personalized outreach emails. You could choose, or do you want this to be AI generated personalization, or you want it to be a fixed template? Going for the option of fixed template, so you're going to use the email templates you already have created in your system. You know how you create email templates in the sales application, right? So I can choose from a list of out-of-the-box templates or any templates which I have created thus far, in the use of the system, right? It lists all the email templates you should have had in your system. But then remember, we're trying to see how to leverage AI as much as possible as we can. So I will not be using the fixed template. I would rather go for the AI generated personalization. And with this, there are a set of instructions that are laid out that this AI agent should use while generating the email. And part of it is outreach scenario and purpose, the subject line, which means I'm telling it to keep it under 6 words, use sentence, case, and hint at the core value preposition. Do not use exclamation mark. So these are like instructions you are giving to the agent. You give it more like prompting, right? You're giving the agent what to do because you expect this outcome. These are the lists out of the box that are being given to us. But if you want to add more instructions, so you just saw I clicked on the pen icon just by the right hand side. So here it allows me to add. Can you see? I can move, modify, put in things. So if you want to add more actions, more instructions, I meant to say, this is the right way you can do it. And once you're done, you click on save. So here is it. By adding actions, I'm making it custom, right? So you can see the different options that we have here. So cancel. But once I click edit, automatically becomes custom. So personalized email based on fields from leads. So you know how personalization works, right? So dear Frank, hello Frank. Trying to pick my first name or my first and last name or my city or my job title, whatever it is, but then that is part of personalization. And trust me, you will like AI to personalize when reaching out to your leads. You won't want a generic way where it says, hello everyone, hi everybody, good afternoon everybody, good night everybody, good morning. No, that doesn't make sense. So personalization, it's very key when it comes to sales, right? So with that, I'll be picking some fields from the system which we'll use for personalization, and we'll just use the first name and the last name, or even just the first name alone. So first name, and I click on add. So it asks me for an instruction. So what do I want the agent to do? Just the same way you put in instructions for the email, you put in instructions for the agent to take on while using the personalization. I'll just say real quick, use first name. Use first name. And that's it, right? The next, I can put in last name. If I wanted to make use of the last name, I'll just come into last name and say use last name. But first name is okay. I just wanted to use the first name. Hey Frank, hey this, hey that. Whatever your name is, I just want to pick the first name. I know this first name basically is on the system, right? So it's on the lead you already created. You created a lead, first name, last name, job title, address, and all of this information. So that is what the system goes in to use. That's the agent now. Okay, so cancel this. This is fine. So talking about compliance. So this is a compliance profile which we use in sales. So by default is on commercial. That's the purpose. If you want to do more about compliance profile, you go into the manage compliance setting. Basically, this is just for when you want to unsubscribe from emails or unsubscribe from engagements, right? So it tells you, do you want to navigate out of the Microsoft predefined workspace for subscription, right? So you put in an external website, or you want to use the default, right? So that's what the compliance setting is about. If you have no serious need for that, right, you can just leave it as it is. And I'll proceed to click on save. So hold on a bit for this to get saved. Right, so we're good here. This is saved. Next, we move into address validation. So for address validation, basically, you won't want an instance where your agent struggles with emails, right? So struggling with sending out mails to dormant emails, temporary emails, junk emails, unverified emails, right? So you don't want it to stress too much on those kind of emails. And with that, we have what we call the email address validation, right? So it just validates if this email is accurate. So basically here it says the agent can run research and send emails only to leads with valid email address. So whatever lead has a temporary email, a fake email, an incomplete email address, that's all those leads automatically are disqualified, right? So and that makes it easy, right? Because with that now, whatever you're handing over to the seller, we know this lead is active, this email is correct, this person is existing, right? So that is the essence of this. So by default, it targets the primary email address, which is email address 1 or 2 or 3. But we target email address, but you could use any of them to target in the system. Now we're going into the handoff criteria. Okay, so for the handoff criteria, basically, this is where you manage how these leads are now handed over to the sellers. Remember, the work of the agent is to go through the selection criteria, pick the right leads, based on the selection, then hand them over to sellers, right? But now, what are the conditions or what are the criteria before they hand them over to sellers is what we're going to set up here. And this could be a long ride, but then it could be easy with the help of Copilot, right? So here I'll just read through. It says the agent uses the CRM data, web research, and conversations to assess fit and buying interest. All right, so there's another point I want to bring out here. So it says okay, to start the agent, at least one criteria must be met, right? So otherwise leads are handed off. This okay, right from here is fine. So it says high interest. So from here, high interest leads that meet over half the criteria are handed off, right? So leads that meet over half of these criteria are the ones that are handed over to sellers, right? Others are disqualified. So that's what I want to explain. So if you meet more than 50% of whatever we're going to set up here, then you're good to go. You're good, you qualified. But if you don't meet it, then unfortunately you get disqualified. You don't even get handed over to any seller at all. So at any point in time, you don't even get handed to a seller, right? Okay, so next we'll be setting up the okay, just give me a minute. All right, so I'll be making use of Copilot. So here it says generate handover criteria. I could come in to put in whatever I want. Okay, for example, what industries are you targeting? I can come to say health sector, health, all right, education, finance. I can put all of this myself, and I'll do same thing similar to all of these options here. But then we can, since we're doing a tutorial video or we're showing off something quick, I can just generate. So I'll just click on generate, and Copilot does its work for me, right? In split of seconds or minutes, it's impute things for me, but I have the flexibility to switch it up, right? To remove what I know it's not important, what I know doesn't meet or match the criteria I want to use for handoff, right? And if others are okay, then I can go with it. So let's give it a few minutes and see how Copilot helps us to generate this information, and we'll pick it up from there. Okay, so that was pretty fast, right? And Copilot was able to do that for us. So now we'll be looking at how we can now work on this information. So for industries you're targeting, it brought up startups and it brought up SaaS. This is because it's taking this information basically from, would I say, the website, right? So if you go into this website now, because we already put in our website, if you check what we do, you can see this is a support hub. We exist, modern business rely on powerful SaaS tools, but they are scaled. You can see what it's focusing on SaaS platform, right? So with this understanding, and with some background information that has been created maybe on Google Analytics or whatever it is about this application, about this website, is able to tell us, okay, this focus on startups and SaaS, like support as a service or software as a service, depending on which of the SaaS is representing here, based on what is on the application, right? So you can see how one of the setup we came in from the company info, right, was able to help us in here, and you can see the kind of persons you want to meet up to, the location, the targets. So all of this, it's able to come out from the fact that we had this information on the website. All right, so here now is where flexibility comes in. I can choose to say, oh, I want to target education as well, I want to target health sector, right? Health, oops, sorry, why is my caps on? Health sector, right? And I can choose to say entertainment as well. Entertainment. All right. So I can just keep it as simple as this. And you wonder how Copilot now, or sorry, the AI agent now is able to tell, okay, this person that is a lead, how do I know which industry this person is? So you can see the Copilot goes into where the information is stored. So currently, information about a lead that has to do with their industry we are targeting is stored under the lead.industry or account.industry. I'll use this as an example to show us real quick. So I'll just duplicate this tab and I'll go into my leads real quick. All leads, do I have any open? Let's see. Okay, I'll just create a lead real quick and let's just get those informations out of it. All right, so here's the lead I've created and we're trying to target, okay, on this lead, we want to target that the fact that this industry matches whatever we have here. So it will be part of leads that will be handled by the agent or be qualified by the that will be handed over by the agent to the seller. So if I go into this lead details, so you can see now we have the industry section and we have a list of industries. Perhaps the industry I mentioned here might not be part of what is here, but you can customize this industry always to fit into what you're targeting. If I'm to target startups, SaaS, education, then definitely I should have customized this industry field to have all of those options. For example, I think I put in education, right? So okay, I put in entertainment. Entertainment is here. Is there health? No health. Okay, but entertainment is here. Finance is here. So you can see how you can tailor this. So it's basically fetch this information from this lead.industry. So same thing goes to the type of typical employee size of the company you want to sell to. So we are targeting about 200 to 500 employees. And if I check where this data is stored, under the lead table is under the number of employees. If I go in here straight up into the details still, you can see number of employees. If I should put 270, automatically this person falls in that criteria. But remember, we need more than half, right? So this alone won't make you get handed over to sellers. We need more than half, right? So that is how the criteria works. But I'm just showing you how the AI agents, where it goes to pick this information. So same thing happens to all of this, right? The roles you can see here where it picks it from job title. If you go into the sales system, if I go to summary, so whatever it's here, if I put a CIO here, right, that automatically makes this person stay in that radar, right? So I think it's a CIO, okay, no CIO, CTO. So imagine that place was a CTO. So you CTO, you're around the 200 and something, you are in education or you're in entertainment. So with this, you are building up, right? And if you meet more than half, then you get handed over to sellers. So real quick, I'll just scroll through others. So typical annual revenue, the budget of your customers, the typical design of your decision makers. And also you can add your own custom criteria. So it's not just limited to what the system has provided for you alone. I can choose to put in, let's see what is not here. And I can choose to put a custom here and I'll be like customer's location. Okay, I think there's a location already. I saw something Canada and something. Okay, customer's location is already here. But take for instance, I want to put in something about, let's say, customer's age. For instance, customer's age. Then it's expected I would have created a field called age in the system, but I don't have any field called age. But I just want to show you how this works, right? Okay, so I put here instruction. Here's an instruction. So customers within age 80 to 60. So these are the people I want to target. So now I need to put in where this will be gotten from. So I come in here, I can add from either Dataverse field or from the website URL, right? But I want to use Dataverse field. So now if I search age, I mean, there's nothing I created about age, which I was supposed to if that's what I want to use. But I mean, that's just a random thing that came to my mind. And like, let me use the customer age. But you are prepared already. If you want to use something custom, you should have that field created. So since we don't have age, I think we should have the birthday, right? Birthday. Okay, no birthday. See, nothing about birth. All right, no birth date here as well. Do we have related birthday from anywhere? Okay, so we have a related birthday from the contact field, right? So from contact field, we can see, the relation of birthday. But for age, I don't think age is in anywhere. No age. All are just picking in between age. Right, so no age. So we can use the birthday, right? Birthday, man, it sounds better. So from the contact, there's a relationship between the contact and leads, and now on the contact table we have the birthday field. So I'll pick the birthday and I'll just click on add. So to make sure someone falls under this criteria, that's the customer age within 18 to 60 years old. So you need to be, so the value under your birthday, or we can just say customers age, and will be like, let's put in the year now, let's say from 1970 to let's say 2005, right? I mean, I think this is cool. So with this now, we know that anybody that falls within this age, right, is now going to be our target customers, right? So this is cool, and I can scroll up here, I've put in the information I want, and I click on save. Okay, so now I've proceeded to save this. Next, we work with the assignment rule. Okay, so for the assignment rule now, I click on assignment rule. So basically now we've put a set of conditions or criteria that we use to hand over to sellers. So now how do we hand over to sellers? That's the assignment rule, the handover process. So by default, this works with the use of round robin. So by default, we make use of round robin for assignments, okay? But now, who do you want to assign to? So specific sellers. If you want the agent to assign to some specific sellers, then you need to choose who the sellers are. So you see a list of all your users in the system. I have no users created on this environment yet, and that's why it's saying sellers. Or I can choose to say, oh no, I want you to assign to anybody. Since you're making a round robin, just assign to anybody in the team. Or I can choose the fact that, oh, there are some attributes I want to, maybe people within. So now this will be targeting like the sellers table now, right? That's the users table basically. So we're targeting people maybe within a certain region. Since I'm targeting Canada and some countries I mentioned, so I can choose here and say people whose address is this, who last name is this, anything, right? So country or region equals, I can put it here. So if your country region equals Canada, the United States, then this set of leads will be handed over to you. Do you understand? So this is basically, setting an attribute for the handover, right? So, but I won't be using any of this. You can do same for team. You can select a specific team in your system, in your organization, or users of those teams. So we can just use randomly any seller, right? I mean, sell anybody, just assign to anybody who is available, since you're making use of round robin. Then you must always have a supervisor, and this is why, because a supervisor monitors assigned leads, stepping in to resolve or when there's escalation, he or she steps in. So you need to always have a supervisor. So you can either use a dedicated admin, or if you have a user who is a supervisor of the team, like the team manager or whatever the case may be, you can also use that person. So I'll just make use of myself, and I hit on the save button. Okay, so hold on a minute. This is saved. Next, we move into the knowledge. So with the knowledge now, out of the box, you notice this was already checked for us because default knowledge-based article knowledge is already configured, right? So you see the agent automatically research leads and accounts by default. So that's why you see it's already checked for us. So using the optional settings below to enrich, additional resources. So if you want to do anything additional, maybe you want to add a resource like a company website where, the agent can work with, then you can come in to do that. So here, business context, maybe you want to get insight on all of this, you can click down here, and if I click on add source, it takes me into Copilot and I'm able to add a source. But this is more like optional, right? So this is optional. So I want to just pick this URL once again, and so we can work with this. So this is optional, but then you can always add it up if you so wish. Right, so hold on for this to launch. And we can now add our knowledge, right? So knowledge source, I can choose a public website, Dataverse, Dynamics. So we're using this public website, and I'll do this, click on add and add to agent. Right, just as you saw, this is just optional. By default already, the agents, automatically research leads and, accounts by default, right? So this is optional, which we've done, and I can choose to click on save. Okay, so this is adding, confirm, right? So this is fine. I can quit this, and this should be added in here for me now. So you can see it's here already. Okay, so you can do others, but then by default, you don't need to stress much because this is done for you automatically. Next is the agent emails. So for here, you guide the agent to write emails, that feel more helpful, relevant to customers, and decide how agents handle email responses. So here we'll be adding links just for social pros from our website. All right, so we're using our website here. The same thing, add a knowledge source just for social proof. If you go back in here, it says add social proof like testimonials and case studies to make your emails more credible, right? So all those testimonials you see on the website. So for instance, if I go in here, do they have any testimonials here? Let's see. Okay, for example, all of this, what the partners are saying. So all of this information you see are things that the system will leverage on, right? So I can come back in here and say, okay, since we have testimonials on that website, then let's go ahead to add that website to the source. So I'll also make use of public website here and click on this. Okay, so click on add. You can see it brings information about the website and says the knowledge source searches information on the web found in this, right? So I click on add to agent. This is fine, and I will do the same thing for the other option, which says add knowledge source for email responses. So on this one, add knowledge source like product specs, competitor insights. So this basically help the agent send better follow-up and ask right questions. Putting the website might not be the best option, right? So you can leverage other places where your competitors have, like a repo where you have all this information. But then just to pass this stage, I'll put in my knowledge source, right? I'll put in my website, this website as the knowledge source, okay? And do it this way. I click on add, and the same thing, I click on add agent. Right, continue, and this should be fine. Okay, so this is all fine. I've added all of these agents, and I can hit on the save button. All right, so once this is done, I can now proceed into the outreach before we have the simulation. So this is the final step where now it says see how the outreach emails are customized. So how this works, you start testing to segment leads and begin researching them. So the first criteria which we had where leads are open, they are cold, they don't it doesn't match employee referral. So that's the first segment. It picks from there. Then after research, the agent will draft outreach emails for your review. Then once you review, the draft and start the agent, it begins engaging with leads autonomously, right? So not satisfied with the draft, you stop testing and you start over again. So basically this brings us to the end of how to set up the qualification agent. So you want the instance where AI qualify leads before handing over to your sellers, before they even make the first phone call. I mean, the team already has the burden taken away, where AI does all of this look and check for them if this sales is qualified, does it meet the target, and now it hands over clean, or should I say hot leads to them, because at this point now you are aware that these people are ready to do business with your organization. So this is how to work step by step. The last thing I need to do here is start testing. Remember, this is a clean environment. I haven't created any leads that meet this criteria, but in your case, you should have a lot of leads that would be meeting this criteria. And once they meet the criteria, that's the selection criteria, the first one, and the next is the handoff criteria. If those two are checked, then you are rest assured that your agent is going to pick those information and do step by step just as what we've set in the system. All right, so this is getting ready for testing, and this should be the last stage. So once you go to agent list, you see that it's currently trying to begin testing. So it says starting testing. If this fails, it gives you a reason why it failed, and if it's published successfully, it tells you, okay, this is published successfully and these are the information it has gotten. All right, so with this we'll wrap it up here, and I hope this was impactful to you. Don't forget, if you like this video, do drop a like and also subscribe to see more about this video. Subsequent video, we'll be talking about the sales opportunity agent, that is the close opportunity agent, right? But then if you have any questions so far while watching or moving through this video, don't hesitate, do drop a comment and definitely I'll respond. Thank you everyone, and do have a great time. Bye.